Thanks again for coming to see our presentation. This is the mission group that went from Nacoochee Presbyterian. There are 8 of us. It was the first mission trip for all of us. And I'm Ashley Brown Lindley, and I'm going to let the kids introduce themselves and say what year they're going into school this coming year.
So my name is Parker Stribling, and I'll be a junior in high school next year.
My name is Malaya, and I'll be a senior in high school.
My name is Everett Lindley, and I will be in 5th grade.
My name is Charles Hughes, and I'll be a sophomore.
My name is Phoebe Warren, and I'll be a sophomore. My name is Kite Stribling, and I'll be a sophomore.
My name is Maggie Anglin, and I will be a sophomore.
I am so very proud of this group, the work that they did, but also this is the future of our church. And they were wonderful missionaries, they're wonderful servants for Christ. And we couldn't have done this trip without the support of the church. And we do hope to be going on more trips in the future. So we hope you enjoy the presentation and continue to support our efforts in helping others. And with that, I'm going to let the kids take it away because they're capable. They're wonderful. Y'all just let me know when you're ready.
All right, so just repeat, we went to Western Kentucky, and we stayed at the First Presbyterian Church in Madisonville, Kentucky, which is right near where the tornadoes came through last December and all the devastation was. So we were able to work out from that church to all of the sites that we went to. So this is our full team that went. Here on the far side, we have Morgan from Clarksville, First Presbyterian Church. And then this is Pastor Matt, and he's the pastor at Clarksville. And then there's Kite and I, Phoebe and Maggie. Phil Ballman is from Cleveland First Presbyterian Church. And then that's Olivia from Clarksville as well, and Jason Dow from Clarksville. And then that's us. Yeah, and then here on the end we have Cole from Dahlonega, and then Marshall from Clarksville as well. So that was our full team that went to Kentucky. And so this presentation is going to show pictures of all of the sites that we went to, the work that we did, and just some of the fun that we had along the way. So enjoy.
So on the way out, we stopped at a store called Bucky's, and it is a love child of Cracker Barrel, a Bass Pro Shop, and a gas station. It is an amazing store. But on the way out, and we decided to theme our trip around this, so we started the acronym Busy, Understanding, Compassionate, Encourager, Empathetic, and Servant, and we tried to embody this on our trips and be the best Bucky that we can be. Brisket Baron himself, Bucky. He's a beaver brisket baron. He sells a brisket, that's
Okay, so our one group, all 8 of us, we were split into 2 separate groups. So this is one of our groups over here on the left side. Me, Parker, Kite, Phoebe, and then Lily and Marshall. We were all in one group, and we went to a guy's name, his name was Tony, and he had a daughter named Amber. And this was her garage, so we were doing different jobs around there, like cleaning, picking up stuff, doing vinyl siding on the house. And this is just a picture of all of us being busy.
And all over here on our side, my group, which had me, Charles, Olivia, Everett, Miss Armis, Ashley, and a couple other kids.
Cole.
Cole. Sorry. We did a lot of debris pickup, and we moved lots of wood and just made everything surrounding the house look a little nicer and more put together. So, as you can see, we're being very busy.
So my group worked on many different job sites during the week. And here we have 2 different job sites pictured. The first 2 photos are at a woman named Laura's house. And we were helping her build a barn dominium, and then in the middle photo, we built her a chicken coop for the house that we dubbed the hen den. and take some shelves. And it seems like very minimal things, but it means so much to someone that we just came out and helped them do anything. And it's really important to understand the meaning of all that we did.
Also with our church, there was a group from Michigan, and to show compassion, one night we made them a nice Taco Tuesday dinner.
And also here on our work site, there was a room that needed to be sanded. So Everett and I and Olivia, we spent a lot of hours in the hot room sanding and sweating, trying to breathe.
In the top, that's just a picture of all of us at the Hendon that we made. The boys helped unload the Hendon, and then we sanitizing our best friend. So during the trip, we really wanted to bring an encouraging mindset, not only to everyone on our team, but to the people who we helped and the people that we were around. And I know at one job site, that far picture at Laura's Bar Dominium, we were framing walls of her house. And I had never framed a house before. I had never used a nail gun. But Parker and another one of our leaders were framing. And I came over to them and I asked them, I said, will you teach me how to use the nail gun? Because it's one of the most dangerous power tools you can use. So of course I wanted to learn. And they taught me and they encouraged me and helped me, and I framed 2 walls all by myself. So thank you to y'all.
And at our job site with Miss Ashley, she cared a lot about her garden. That was her safe space. She put a lot of heart and work into it. And when the tornado came through, it wrecked all of her landscaping. So me and our Miss Ashley, we pulled weeds, we gardened, we just helped make the outside look as nice as it can. So.
Just a point of clarification, I don't know if you said it, but this family,
Oh yeah.
so the lady and the husband, their names are Ashley and Jason.
Oh.
And she's a teacher. She has 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and one of them is named Jet. So there's a lot of It's very confusing. Just, if you get confused, just raise your hand. Clarify.
Oh, this is me. Okay, so empathetic. This really has to do with the garden that Matthew was speaking of. This was all our Miss Ashley's idea to do with Kentucky, actually. So one day we drove out to Lowe's, we bought some flower pots and flowers and tried to plant her garden so it would be manageable for her to take care of, which is really, that was what she did to feel calm in the morning. She'd go out and drink her coffee after the tornado and stand in her garden, and she couldn't do that if it just wasn't there. So that's all props to Miss Ashley.
And so here, this is our group. We were at Laura's Bardominium, and as we put up the frames of her house, we all took a marker and we wrote our names and put the date, and we put a Bible verse on there so we could help her, just grow her house in the name of the Lord.
So another thing that we really worked to embody on this trip was servitude, to serve these people in the ways that they need. And one of the ways that we did that was we had a big cookout celebration kind of party thing at a church in Princeton, Kentucky, which is real close to Madisonville, where we were working there. And we went over and we kind of had a big cookout. And so Charles and I cooked all the hamburgers and hot dogs, and the entire community was invited, and it was a great time of fellowship.
So over here on the right side, this is me and Olivia and 2 of the girls from the Michigan youth group. And you can see that we have a sign that says free food A little backstory behind the sign. Pastor Matt, who was basically the overall leader of our group, told us we need a sign made. And so we're like, okay, yeah, we can go to Dollar General, we'll get some markers, we get a poster board, it'll be great. He goes, no, we're not going to Dollar General. So he took a box and ripped the box and got a piece of cardboard and found 2 markers, a red and a blue, and wrote free food here. And as we were standing on the side of the road, you could tell, like, people would interact with you, but they would not come in. And I mean, if I saw some kids on the side of the road with a free food sign here, I probably would not. But we had a lot of fun. We got a speaker, and we listened to music down there. We had a party. And we just tried to welcome people in. And we got a few hard talks, let me tell you. They really enjoyed it. You know, we had we had some people. We did have some people come in. It was really rewarding when you saw a car pull.
So we've already talked a little bit about Tony, but that's Tony. This is Tony here, and then that's Tony there as well, and that's his wife Sherry. And we were working at their daughter's house. This is her garage. And during the tornado, a lot of this board and batten siding was loosened up a lot. A few pieces had pulled off. And what they wanted to do was put vinyl siding up. And we had never put up vinyl siding. We were very willing to put up vinyl siding, but we didn't really know how. So Tony really taught us, he taught us completely actually how to put up vinyl siding. And you know, in the beginning, our interactions with Tony were very necessary. Like there wasn't any interactions with him that were just interactions like you would have. It was all, you know, we have to interact to get this done. But by the end, he had really opened up. And we talked a lot more. He told us all about his life story and how his wife, before Sherry, he had a first wife who had passed away. That was his daughter. This is his daughter's house. Her mother had passed away. And he had really, his faith was shaken when that happened. But he found Sherry and he went back to, he's a musician, he went back to playing music. And so he's really kind of come full circle in that sense. And he's also, this is his second experience with tornado devastation. When he was younger and when his daughter was, I think 15 or 16, their house was swept away in another tornado. So this is his second go around with tornado destruction. So he's traveled a long path, but it's really come full circle and he's come back around and is really having a good life. So that's Tony's story. He also looks remarkably like Willie Nelson. When we first met him, he got out of the truck and we're looking at each other like, Willie Nelson lives in Kentucky. He has a pseudonym, but Tony was a really great guy. I really enjoyed getting to know him over the course of the trip.
Okay, so we worked for Kentucky Miss actually, and that's the only work site we stayed at the entire time.
Yes.
But her story is very sad. Just a month or so, maybe even less than that, before the tornado, she lost her youngest son, Logan, in a car accident. And she was really shaken by that. And then the tornado came through and destroyed her home. And a big part of her being able to rebuild was not having the same house that she lived in with Logan, because she just couldn't do it. But there is a nice memorial room that has all of his jerseys. He was a very gifted athlete.
He had just graduated high school when he passed, so.
It was bad. That's another reason why we're planting the garden, is she really found solace in that after Logan had died, and then it got destroyed. But she has a sad story.
And her husband is a police officer, so you know he's very busy and involved with the whole community. And one thing that we learned at this site that I didn't know is that communities, when they get federal disaster relief, they have to pay a portion of it back. But when volunteers come, that time that we spend is logged, and those hours they don't have to pay back. So we are providing a financial benefit directly to the community in addition to getting the work done. So I thought that was pretty great. We're all worth about $25 an hour in addition to so that's another important part of this that I was unaware of with this federal disaster relief money, that we can offset that.
And to me, Miss Ashley, she had the way that she presented and held herself. You would have never have known that she had just lost her son a couple months ago, and her house is just completely got torn up in a tornado. She had a very positive attitude. She was very friendly and helpful to the kids, and she didn't let anyone stop her. So I really admire that about her too.
And in fact, within a lot of the homes around her, if you look, there's a lot of places that there used to be homes. There won't be now. Because without volunteer help, a lot of people, they can't afford to rebuild. Even with insurance money, it's not enough to cover the cost of completely rebuilding a home. So one comment that she made was that without all the groups of volunteers that come through, the homes that are being rebuilt, they wouldn't be able to. So it's just so expensive to rebuild. Parker's gonna probably have to fix this. Okay.
This is a job site that my group worked at, and the woman we worked for is Laura. Here she is in the middle. And Laura also has a heartbreaking story. So she was in her home the night of the tornado, and part of the reason that the tornado was so devastating is it came at night in the dark, and it was not during tornado season. So no one expected there to be a tornado, just a bad storm. And Laura was at home with her fiance and her dog. And when the tornado came by, it threw her out of the house and threw her fiance out of the house, and it ended up killing her fiance. And it destroyed her home and her business. So she truly lost everything. And she had many injuries. Amongst those was a busted spleen, and she was told that she was not going to make it. But she did, and she pulled through, and she's rebuilding her life, and her amazing strength and positivity is incredible. I mean, she told me all of that and then offered to get me like a drink and food. And I was like, oh my goodness. But it means a lot that I get to be a part of her story and get to help her rebuild and reclaim not only her business, but her life.
So something to add to Kat telling us her story. Her business, she was a hairstylist. So she had half of her home as her hair salon and then half that she lived in. And she decided to come up with the name. Her new hair salon is going to be called Blown Away. And it was just amazing to see that she has all of this new. Her fiance had bought a few acres of land before he passed, and she got that when he passed away. And so now she's building that home in his remembrance. And
Can you explain what barn dominion is?
half is where you live, half is like a business, and then she's got a barn. Now her animals will live in her house. She will have horses and stuff.
And we don't have any full pictures of the barn dominium here, but when we first went to this work site, the barn side was complete. It was insulated with metal siding on it and done. And then, like Kite said, we framed the residential side, put all the walls up on the residential side. And we've been following her Facebook since we left Kentucky, and we just saw actually downstairs, she has completed her barn dominium, or at least the exterior of it. We haven't seen inside, but she's talking about rebuilding. She has rebuilt. I mean, she has really rebounded.
Okay, so this is Miss Christiana's story. We went to her apartment. Well, it's actually her sister's apartment. Her apartment building the whole apartment had been picked up and destroyed. So we were setting up, as in this picture you can see, we were putting up a shelf. And I had never put up a shelf like that before. There were so many different hooks and screws, and we had to take one of those little peg things, and it wouldn't work. And we had to try and figure out where studs. That's what they're called, studs. We had to find the studs on the wall. And then we also hung up a mirror. And I know that me, Phoebe, and Kite, we all felt a little guilty that day because we got to be in the air conditioning while everybody was outside in the heat. And Mr. Phil had came with us to this job site, and we sat on the ground for probably about an hour and listened to her story. And Phil had to tell us, because we really did. We felt bad because we felt like we hadn't done anything that day while everybody else was working their tails off. And Phil explained to us that for a lot of these people, they don't have anybody to tell their story to. And for us to just sit there and listen to it, it meant a lot to her. And she hadn't had the best past. She had gotten a little bit of trouble, and then found God, and has completely changed.
Okay, so in the middle of the week, we took a little break from tornado work, and we took a short trip to Indiana to a place called Holiday World. It's an amusement park, and so throughout the whole week, we had the whole theme was every day's a holiday. And so we had Christmas, we had Thanksgiving, birthday, Halloween, am I forgetting anything?
4th of July.
4th of July, yes. And so every little section at Holiday World was a different theme. And so we went to Thanksgiving World, we went to Christmas World, we went to Halloween World, and we had a lot of fun. And here, some of the girls, me and Maggie and Kite and Olivia, on a log ride, a water log ride.
Just a log ride, nothing really intense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it from their faces.
We looked like we'd just been through a loop, but it was just a gentle slope, and we got all fun enough.
Yeah, we do.
So here we are in Holiday World. We just come in with a big group picture, and we met Santa. He's a cool guy.
In June.
In June, yes.
And we were in Kentucky, so like we had Kentucky Fried Chicken a couple times, but one thing that we did is during the Bible study at the end of the day, we would all get together in a room, and Pastor Matt had the Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. And so he wrote everyone's names on a little popsicle stick, put them in the bucket, and mixed them around. And so at night, you would draw someone's name, and the next day, you would have to kind of stalk them, I guess, and be around them a lot, and so then when we go back to Bible study, you share something that they did that was kind, or a gift that they gave, or just anything like that. And that really, I think it really connected everybody. And it was a lot of fun to be able to do that, to share what great things people are doing, and to even hear it too. So that was it was fun.
Who's that on the Kentucky Fried Chicken then?
That's a rapper from Kentucky. His name is Jack Harlow. It's not. He's from Kentucky, and his big thing is I'm from Kentucky. So then they do a thing together. It's a lot. It doesn't matter.
So I know I speak for myself when I say that this trip brought me, and I think I can speak for, I want to say this, closer together. And not only us, but we had 4 different churches going together. And we worked really hard. We had some training days before we left just to make sure everyone felt connected and together. And I think we truly did. And when we had our popsicle stick ceremony every night, on the last night, Pastor Matt surprised us by doing a foot washing. So we read the Bible verse of Jesus washing the disciples' feet, and then we went around, and if you had the popsicle stick, like the popsicle stick said Phoebe, I would wash Phoebe's feet while I told her how she's a gift to me. And it was an extremely emotional and heartwarming process that I know personally I will never forget. Maggie washed my feet, and it was a really amazing event, and I'm really thankful that we got to do that.
which would be if you showed busy, understanding, all of them. And then we had this hat that I was wearing, and it was basically, we would do a vote, and whoever was your hero of the day, you would put it on the slip, put it in the bucket, and then whoever won got the hat.
That one was the kids pick, the hero of the day, and Bucky was chosen by the leaders.
And you had to take photos with Bucky. So if you see photos of Bucky throughout the trip, that's why.
It's not a random beaver.
And then one night to bond, we went and we just played mini golf, and it was very fun.
Looks like you went swimming.
It was hot. But they were also very encouraging of one another as well, because, you know, I know how kids can sometimes be really competitive, but really they were great together. Oh, we went to Dairy Queen a lot.
Pastor Matt, one of his big things was Dairy Queen, which, I mean, nobody else, no one's complaining about that. So I personally had some great memories just sitting in Dairy Queen after being all hot and sweaty and with our little groups, and it was a lot of fun going to Dairy Queen. And also, our Miss Ashton at our work site, the other groups would come back to our work site to have lunch, because the place we worked for, Operation Blessing, would provide us lunch, which was very nice. And Miss Ashley had a trampoline. And the first day, we were kind of sitting around the trampoline. I don't know if we should get on it. But by the end of the week, we were jumping on the trampoline.
We were sleeping on the trampoline.
Probably well over the weight limit. And some more mini golf.
So during the week, we had lots of fun memories, and these photos just represent some awesome things we did. And on the far right corner over here, that is the girls' bunk room. So all 6 of us, representing 3 different churches, were all in one room. And it was a lot of fun. We also, at Miss Laura's house, she built a storm bunker here in case another tornado comes. And Malaya, Phoebe, and I asked her if we could get in it. And she said yes. So we took a couple photos. And here we are at another infamous Dairy Queen trip, making that free food sign.
We went to like 3 or 4 different Dairy Queens.
Different, never the same one.
Very nice after a
like
long
2.
day.
Okay, so that's just a picture of boys from our church. It's some sort of thing, I forgot what it was. But that picture is what me and Parker did over the trip. At Bucky's, we saw a can of Campbell's soup that cost 98 cents, and we couldn't afford not to get it. And we ate that, and then later in the trip, we were at Walmart, and we saw more soup, so we got that. We got a can of Louisiana-flavored sardines, Louisiana hot sauce, and some barbecue Louisiana sausages, and all feasted like kings that night. This was like past 11.
This is at like midnight.
This was at midnight. The last night we were there, we all ate our assorted canned goods together.
And were you sick the next day?
Only a smidge.
But I will say, save yourself. Do not eat Louisiana sardines.
The sardines.
Yeah, that's
The Vienna sausages were
Everett did.
Yeah, the Vienna sausage was natural. Anyway, but so we cleaned the kitchen for an extended amount of time after that. But, so thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Does anybody have any questions for the group? Anything you want to ask? Well,
they do Pennville close.
Are y'all willing to make some indents?
Yes! Use zip ties.
Now we turn that.
Camera off.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
There you go.
Just so you know, the different shirts up here are representative of the different groups. Of course, Nacoochee Pres, the blue tie-dye shirt was the team shirt for the entire group, all four churches from Northeast Georgia. Presbyterian Disaster Assistance was a coordinating group for overall in Western Kentucky. And Operation Blessing is another faith-based organization that was managing the job sites. So that's how we kind of came in contact with these different groups. So there's a lot of groups working together to get these projects accomplished. And it takes a lot of hands, not just the building and the cleaning, but also the coordinating. So we're thankful for them as well.
I know personally I came home with 6 shirts.
We are well clothed. So thank y'all again.
Thank you.